I had to move to the speaker since I'm so short. Let's see if I can get this to work. I'm not an orthopedic surgeon, but I was raised by one. This is me and my dad on his last day when he retired. I've been working in the ASC market. After he retired, I got involved with orthopedic ASC, and I fell in love with it. I think it's the best place to send your family and all of your patients. What is an ASC? We call it an ambulatory surgery center, and it is a freestanding surgery center, and that doesn't necessarily mean it stands out on its own, but it's constructed. The construction is a freestanding ASC. It has to do with firewalls and all of that kind of stuff. The other thing is it's licensed as an independent entity, and it has to be certified through Medicare and all your insurance contracting. It's the same. It all is the same for each surgery center you do. What's special about the ASC? Certainly it's a efficient, faster way to get your patients in and out. You do have to understand certainly the nuances, just as you've heard earlier, about how do you get your patients in, how you do everything ahead of time so they come in, get pre-op, have their surgery, and go home, and are taken care of post-op. As you can see, the market overview, we've had in the second quarter of 2024, over 6,000 ASCs were Medicare certified. In the beginning, back in the day, ASCs were not really a big money maker. It was really about, did you want to have a better quality of life? You could do more cases, you had more control over your staff, those kind of things. But certainly the market has changed since back in the day. As we see, most of the time the ASC sizes are between 1 and 4 ORs. That's over 80% of your market there. We are seeing in the last few years trying to build larger ones. Our experience shows you that it's not actually the best financial approach. It's very exponentially more expensive each room you add. This here talks about your average case revenue. Again, orthopedics wins. This is an all-play type of revenue for sports, hence not a joint-specific center. It's going to be hard to get that data. It's so recent. When we talk about ownership structure, there's all kinds of creative ways to have ownership. Back in, up until the last few years, it was either a physician-owned ASC or a hospital physician partnership. Then the corporate ownership started coming in, your USPIs and SCAs and those kind of things. Our company is a straight-up management company. We don't do equity. We found that it seems to be a niche that's appealing. So, where'd he go? Uh-oh. Oh, there he's coming. I didn't do that. All right, physician-owned ASCs. Traditionally, that's 100% ownership. The pros to that are that you have a lot of control over your ASC, and certainly you get all of the profit of your ASC. The con to that is your risk and certainly the capital and expense to open up those centers. Is that what's happening? Got it all. Thanks. This one. Interesting. So this is hospital physician joint ventures. This is where we've seen the largest growth in the market. Certainly after COVID, hospitals started getting very involved in how are they going to be able to push healthy patients out into the ASC and diversify their platforms. Also, the payers are now requiring hospital systems to have an ASC in their options for when they're contracting, to make sure that they are offering a low-cost, beneficial option for their providers. There we go. Oh, okay. So here the con of this, the pro of this is certainly contracting. When you own an ASC, you have to figure out, are you more interested in capital? Or you want better contracting? What is your appetite for the management and the regulations, those kind of things, and then how much control do you want to have. In the hospital venture, we see the contracting has been probably the biggest plus for that. You can also align yourself with some of their inventory and their disposables, those kind of things. And then the downside of that is you do get involved in more governance, more departments start getting involved in your ASC, and they typically try to run it as an HOPD. So we talk about unhospitalize your ASC. Here we go. Come on. Here we go. Come on. So we try to make sure that when you start an ASC with a joint venture, you all agree that it's going to be a separate entity and you're going to have the input on the governance of the facility. I'll show you the structure that we like in just a minute, but you really want to keep as much of hospital and policies out of the ASC. They tend to try to lump everything together. You also want to build it efficiently. Typically, hospitals want to build more rooms, want to have more corridors, more offices, those kind of things. We really have to encourage them that this is a same day. You can talk about them staying overnight, but they shouldn't. We want them in the center, and then they're going to go home. That is the goal of the center. And then payer contracting strategies, how to talk to the hospital. Certainly if you're building one, you want to talk about the cases you're going to do and how they're going to strategize those payment methods. We ran into trouble, of course, with your anterior hips and knees being added, so much later in the process for hospitals, so they didn't negotiate ASC rates. When you're talking about paying rates, they come in a bucket of hospital rate, HOPD rate, and then an ASC market, and they negotiate those contracts all separately. So early in the process, talk to them about what you're going to do and how they're going to negotiate those contracts. And then certainly in the ASC, we do a different staffing model, lots of cross-training. We don't have a pre-op nurses and post-op nurses. We cross-train all through the facility, even with circulators can do all areas of and then techs help with your SPD and those kind of things. And then the hybrid model right now is looking at different people coming into the center. You have VC people coming in. You have a mix of hospitals and the corporate organization and physicians. So get creative with what type of ownership you want to have. Certainly as the surgeon, you drive the bus because you bring the cases. Corporate owned, again, is USPI, SCA, those type of centers. They too will take some of the management and some of those risks with you. What we found is they also require equity, that's just what you have to decide where you want to put, you want to have your risk all with you. Everything is a cost. So if you want to get better contracting, reduce your risk, get more capital, sometimes you have to give up some of your ownership. As we were talking about structures, when we talk about unhospitalize your ASC, the smaller, when you have USPI, those kind of centers, they run this structure, the ASC structure to the right that you're seeing, which is sort of a leaner deal. When you're over with the joint venture, sometimes in a hospital, you can see it starts getting complicated. Everybody has to check and double check. And what does the future look like? Well, what the future looks like is hips and knees being done in its own super specialized ASC. We see that coming more and more. That's the buzzword out there. We used to do it with hand and upper extremity. That was a big super specialty. But now we're looking at spine and total joint centers, and then specifically total joint centers. Thank you very much. I appreciate you inviting me to this